Mhm. Um, there are not that many instances of shalt in the dictionary, but there seems to be quite a few in the Bible. Yeah. Uh, that it says that thou shalt work 6 days. Yes. Rested and was refreshed. The just looking at it, yes. 635 or 867. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. But even if such evidence was wanting, the reason of the institution would be sufficient proof. Yeah. It was to be a joyful celebration of God's completion of his creation. It has indeed been said that Moses gives quite a different reason for the institution of the Sabbath as a memorial for the deliverance from Egyptian bondage. Deliverance front. Yeah, misspelling there. The words added in Deuteronomy are a special motive for the joy with which the Sabbath should be celebrated, for the kindness which extended its blessing to the slave and the beast of burden as well as the master, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thought. Yes. These attempts to limit the ordinance proceed from an entire misconception of its spirit. The law and the spirit, hope. So you have your Old Testament law, and I think this whole working 6 days and keeping the Sabbath holy is in the Ten Commandments. Yeah, but it looks like there was the intent of the law, the spirit of the law, as it were, a season of stern privation rather than a special privilege in communion with Jehovah, who himself rested and was refreshed. Yeah. Exodus 31:17, Exodus 23:12. Now it is in Exodus 16:23-29 that we find the first incontrovertible institution of the day. Incontrovertible. That's like one of these words that means there is no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that this institution of the day, as one given to and to be kept by the children of Israel, shortly afterwards it was reenacted in the fourth commandment. Oh, it is in the commandments. This beneficent character of the fourth commandment is very apparent in the version of it which we find in Deuteronomy 5, chapter 5, 12-15. The law and the Sabbath are placed upon the same ground and give rights to classes that would otherwise have been without such. Ouch. To the bondman and the bondmaid may, to the beast of the field is viewed here as their main end. The stranger, ouch, too, is comprehended in the benefit. Now, this is a kind of an interesting thing that individuals that had no rights because of being slaves, yes, as well as the actual animals that were owned by the Israelites, yes, and all of those foreigners that were working for the Israelites, God instituted a right so that they shall have one day of rest. Now, it might not have been to worship the Lord, but there's this concept of rights and how you say that you have the right to violate the laws of the United States. It looks to me, just finding this out, that the law and the Sabbath are placed upon the same ground and to give rights to classes that would otherwise have been without such. Now, I'm a class of person. I want you to understand I have an agenda today, okay? You will not interpret the law with the shouts and the shout nots. Ouch! You will not do what the law requires. Yes. And then you make up excuses about why it is that you can intentionally, wrongly interpret what the law requires. Now, this discretion of judges, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now, this chapter 4 of Matthew, yes, this is kind of an interesting experience for Jesus, where then was Jesus led up of the Spirit, little s, into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. Yes. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city, setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and saith unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written in capital letters, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. Jesus said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not. Now, this not tempting God, yes, it's kind of like, let's say the state's RCWs, yes, required notice and opportunity, without you saying that I have to have a mental health evaluation when my record was expunged. Yes. Now, you cannot use as justification your fake fucking bullshit about mental health evaluations without there being an arrest record, without there being some sort of conviction. Now, I'm wanting you to remove your fraud. Yes. And it seems that the devil, yes, is that devil that took Jesus up there, the imaginary being, their mental health evaluations. Why don't you get me the psychiatrists, the school counselors, all of those that earn their income right now? Because I think, yes, you've been making up bullshit reasons for the administration, for the prescription of certain pharmaceuticals. Yes, because of the depression of all of those in society that just have to feel good about themselves. Now, when I go through, well, prescriptions, yes. I had once said that there's going to have to be a pill, yes, that we all are going to have to take as a nation, yes, that's going to get us to accept the way of things, yes. Because eventually some people are going to say, well, I don't want to have sex with a dog. Yes. I don't want a dog that looks like me. Yes. I don't want you making up bullshit crimes that citizens didn't actually commit. Yes. So that you could administer psychotropic medication against the will of those that are accused. Now, when I look at the actual prescriptions today, there are some large pharmaceutical companies that have patents on those prescriptions. This use of pharmaceuticals because of the corruption of the psychiatric industry, yes. I think that this real devil, yes, that led Jesus up there and tempted him, you would say it's a figment of my imagination. I have a real agenda today. I have a real agenda. This, yes, say, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. You know how many in the family have been told you can have anything you want? Yes. As long as you're in the family. Yes. You can always be on the payroll. We will pay you to do anything to torture American citizens. Yes. Now, for those in government, I had found out this morning the Bible says I'm to pray for you. I have a little lawsuit that has what's known as the prayer for relief. Yes. And when I pray for you right now, you'll fucking understand exactly what the lawsuit says. Because I do not pray and intercede for any politician